Before Shani leaves, I wanna say to the Chevra, he has to go, but I have to, for a thank you before Shani has to run, I want to say that what's going on in this space medrash, we're zoich every Thursday night to get together and learn Divrei Torah. What the Chevra has done, Rav Avi, there's a lot of guys, Rav Maish, the Chevra is involved, but a tremendous credit to Rav Yankiv Metz, a tremendous credit to Rav Shimi Schlesinger. They're succeeding turning this room into a Makom Torah, a place where the tzibur is gathering, second Seder, night Seders, the new Ma'ariv that was Zaycha, the new Ma'ariv that goes on every week, that every night, Beis Hashem, in the Beis Medrash, but really to turn this Makom Tefillah to a Makom Torah and a Makom Tefillah. Yetz is going to have to think about the name. It's called Sharei Tefillah. Sharei Torah Tefillah. There's a lot of connection between Torah and Tefillah, of course, and the very pasuk that we learn Tefillah from, Yesh Dvarim Begav Avodah, the very pasuk the Sifri says is Tefillah, and the Sifri says that Torah. But I really want to appreciate Rav Shimi, the shiurim at night, the chaburs in the afternoon. What's going on here is a dream. For many, many years we dreamed of this. A lot of the chevra here, but Rav Yankiv Metz, of course, gets this tremendous idealistic person, Rav Shimi. So before you left, I got quiet. I like the Olam Shmuzing. I'm not quick to say he has to run, but on behalf of the whole tzibur, the appreciation that we owe, the emes dekakar is not. If he wasn't here, I'd want to say it. If I could say it in front of him, I'm so thank you for what you've done and what you're doing. Thank you, Shimon. There's a lot I want to learn with the Chevra tonight. I actually have three things that are on my mind that I want to learn with you. The first thing I want to learn with the Chevra, there's a word from the Avodas Yisrael, from the Kashnitz and Magid on this week's parasha, but equally the word is geschmack, but there's something very practical that I want to share with the Chevra that's very timely and practical. Everybody knows the Rashi in this week's parasha's Chayei Sarah, that it says, Rashi asks, why is Misa Sarah near the Akedah? The end of parasha's Vayera had the Akedah. Beginning of Chayei Sarah is the Misa of Sarah Imenu. And Avodas Yisrael brings this Rashi, that Rashi asks, why is the Akedah and Misa Sarah next to each other, says Rashi, Lefi shal yedei besuras Akedah, because of the news of the Akedah, shenizdamin b'na l'shcheta, that her son was prepared for shcheta, ukemat shalei nechshat, and he almost wasn't shechted. It was like touch and go. Parcha nishmasa mimena omesa. Sarah Imenu's neshama left her. And the question's obvious. Avram Avinu knew about the Akedah, and he walked great distance, and the Nisayin of the Akedah didn't kill Avram Avinu. Fakert Avram Avinu, it's one of the 10 Nisyanis Avram Avinu passed. How do we understand that Sarah Imenu is Nifteris from the news of the Akedah? What's happening? It's like a mystery. Sarah Imenu hears about the Besur of the Akedah, and she's Nifteris. What's this? Avram Avinu knew the exact same information, and Avram Avinu was Oimid ben Esayin. I'm not saying this is in nowhere do Chazal, we don't add Averis. I'm not saying Sarah Imenu didn't pass. What are we being taught here? Rashi quotes a medrash, and Hashem wanted us to know. He wanted me and you to know this, Hashem. It's Torah. It's Torah that Sarah Imenu passed away from the Akedah. Anybody studying Torah has to ask, that's Torah. You want to know Torah? Sarah Imenu passed away from the Besur of the Akedah. What's being said here? So the Avodas Yisrael says something, he doesn't need my askam at all. But this Sadik, the Kashnitz and Magid, says like as follows. He said that Sarah heard about the Akedah from a distance. She hears there's an Akedah and she's not there. It's a tremendous moment of Kiddush Shamayim. And she's not Zoiche to be there, but from a distance, she gave up her neshama to Hashem. Now, I don't know what it means to be nifteris from the Akedah. The Avodas Yisrael said she was miyached Hashem, she parted from this world. That's what it means that she heard the Besura of the Akedah. Parcha nishmasa mimena. Her neshama flew, and the Avodas Yisrael said it was a madrega. She at that moment, she tzushtel to the moment of the Akedah, to the Kedusha, to the Kirvas Hashem. And she left the physical existence, and Hashem took her neshama. She left this world. She was pirish from Olam Hazeh. She left this world. That's what Avodas Yisrael. It's much deeper. It's much more. I'm not blaming us for being little kids one day. We learned the Chazal. She heard. She must have been overwhelmed. That's not the Torah is teaching us. Sari Meinu said Avodas Yisrael was doing an avodah at this great moment. Rav Gedalia Shur commenting on this Avodas Yisrael. Rav Gedalia Shur says that's pshat in the Gemara Brachas Samach Aleph Mud Beis. The Gemara describes Rabbi Kiva. That Rabbi Kiva is being tortured. Chavshu bebeis asurim for teaching Torah. He was makil kehilas and he was teaching Torah. And the Gemara describes how Yisarkin as Pisari b'masreika shel barzel. They were combing Rabbi Kiva's blood with combs of metal. Vayemekabel of Ol Malchus Shamayim. And he was saying Shema, Rabbi Kiva. Amar loy Talmid of Rabbeinu ad kan. Amar lehem kol yama yisi mitztar al pasuk zeh b'chol nafshecha fil neitas nishmascha. Amarti masa yava yiliyada v'keimenu v'achshaba yiliyada le'keimenu. Hayamayirich be'echad. Rabbi Kiva was saying Hashem echad was mayirich be'echad. It's a shaila. Some bring a raya to Chaim that the dalit, the way the Yemenites say the dalit is Yair, that dalit is not a dalit because we can't be mayirich be'echad. Echad. People try. There's no such thing. Some bring a raya to the Yemenites that dalit is the echad. That you can be mayirich. It's a shaila. But Rabbi Kiva was Mayrich be'echad ad sheyatza nishmasai be'echad. Says it was yatza nishmasai be'echad. Says Reb Gedalia Yeshua, it doesn't just mean he was nifter at that moment. That's not what it says. It says it was yatza nishmasai be'echad, not b'shasha amar echad. He was nifter being miyached Hashem. He wasn't nifter from Yisurim. Says Reb Gedalia Yeshua, while he was going through Yisurim, he departed. He was cleaving to the Rebbeinu Shalom. He was saying and believing and connecting to Hashem Echad. He left. He pashat left. He returned. He ran to Hashem. That's Yatza Nishmasai Be'echad. He said on this Avodas Yisrael. The same way Sari Meinu was Parcha Nishmasa with the Akedah is the same pshat in Rabbi Kiva was Yatza Nishmasai Be'echad. He left. Being miyached Hashem, and Hashem took his neshama, he walked to Hashem. Now, the reason that this pshat is nifla, what hit me so timely is their moments and stelling to a moment. Today, right now, as we speak, and this is what Hashem called us, there's Bnei Yisrael as we speak risking their lives to protect Yidden. Right now, this minute, there's people risking their lives, people in Klal Yisrael, sent by God, kipshutai mamish, and they're risking their lives. There's a moment happening now, and stelling so to a moment. They're big moments, understanding moments. Sorry, man, it wasn't by the Akedah, but there's a time of the Akedah. It's a big moment in the world, and Avodas Yisrael describes that from where she was, she stelled so to the moment. She was present to the moment. And in our own lives, understanding big moments. It has to be big moments that Hashem has asked Yidden to give, to risk their lives to protect other Yidden for the safety of Yidden. That's a moment. That's moments. Those are moments, demands that people like us who are not present at that moment, but stellt so to that moment. That means something, that says something, that attaches. I'm not saying, I don't know, Tuesday there's a big gathering. My God is everybody should go. There's a gathering Tuesday where Rabbanim, it seems, have told us. The Rabbanim say there's no Shaila. It seems the Rabbanim have said Klal Yisrael should gather on behalf standing up. And to me, it's a long trip to Washington, D.C. We all are busy. We're over all these type of svaras. It's a big moment. I'm not saying that's the only. I'm not here to specifically, but standing up in a moment, applying zustellung to a moment, not saying I'm not there. So good in time, in space, we're not there. But our job is to be there. I was very moved by the Avodas Yisrael that Sari Meinu, distance from the Akedah, was also, she wasn't Zeicha physically to be there, but she was there. Parcha Nishmasa was a Madrega, she was busy, she also was there. She wasn't Zeicha to physically be present, so she was present in any way she could be present, she was present to that moment. I think ourselves, when there are moments in time that things are going on in our people that are unusual, that are serious moments. There's serious moments right now. From where we are, stelling to a moment in ways we can. Ich sag nicht what's the way, and I don't say going to a march is the whole way of stelling zu. That might be one thing to do, to put ourselves out of our comfort zone. Maybe we're nervous. Maybe it's a long distance. We're not the best travelers. And I'm not saying to settle only in that way. That could be one way. We're stelling zu. People who are askanim have cheshbonis, very good to cheshbonis. To me, the pashtus is to go. That's the pashtus. But I'm not talking just stelling zu in that way. But stelling zu to moments that we're busy with it, that we're also operating and working on something that's in front of us, that's something that's happening now, and it's shaykh to us. Stelling zu and being shaykh to those moments from a distance. I'm extremely moved by this avodas Yisrael. Of Sarai Menu's Avodah, Parcha Nishmasa, big madrega, she wasn't there, but she also was zustelling to such a matzah. She reached some madrega of being parish from Gashmis, of stepping into a world of Netzri, some madrega of Parcha Nishmasa, that she was busy because she stelled zu to a moment. So that nikud of stelling zu to a moment is something that I wanted to share with the Chevra. One of the principles of Hasidus. This is a principle that every year it's not. But one of the things that specifically the Baal Shem brought to the world a focus on. It's not a chiddush to any specific Talmud Chacham. Is the Hashkachas Hashem. When things happen, they happen for a reason. When you hear something. If a Yid walks into a store and a guy says something, there's no coincidence. It's from Hashem. It's from Hashem, Hashkacha Pratis. Hashkacha Pratis, things are exact. It's any segment of Klal Yisrael. Somebody went to Ramesh Aaron's stern. Somebody said to Ramesh Aaron, a relative of Ramesh Aaron stern told me, they said to the Kamenetz Mashkiach that it was such a coincidence. His mother's Levaya, this was a relative of Ramesh Aaron. And the Levaya of Ramesh Aaron Stern's mother, this person, Punkt, was there by Hashkachas Hashem. So the person said it was such a coincidence. I was at the Levaya of a relative. I was worked out. It was such Ramesh Aaron Stern got serious. He said, us Talmidim Reveli Lapian don't use the word coincidence. We don't like it. We don't like the word coincidence. Don't use the word. We're not gairis the word. There are no coincidences. Us Talmidim Reveli Lapian don't use the word. If you were somewhere, it's hashkacha. If you hear something, it's hashkacha. And the Baal Shem took very serious. If you heard something, he took it seriously. Why are you hearing about this? Today, the discussion worldwide by most of the 8 billion people on earth is about collateral damage. That's like the discussion, the ganze Welt, everything tumbles about this discussion. It's Israel's, they're beating back at Hamas, at the terrorists, and people in war, they're trying to limit like no nation in the world. They're dropping leaflets, nobody behaves, but we're Yidden. So we're trying hard to limit damage. We value lives. Of life values any human being in the world. Any human life has value. And as such, they're trying to attack the people that are fighting and trying not to hurt others. But there's a sugya of collateral damage. How hard could human being try? The ganze Welt dreht sich herum. This shaila is like the shaila of the world. Collateral damage, limiting collateral damage. Are you doing too much collateral damage? Responsibility for collateral damage. It's the sugya of the world. And it makes me think about the topic of collateral damage. And I want to say that in Hashem's world, ein avel, there's no collateral damage. And it's being a sugya, collateral damage. That's a world of human beings. A world of human beings. I'm trying to get him, and that one's in the way. In the world of Hashem, everything's very exact. We were Zeich in the Beis Medrash by us, a lot of B'nai Torah sitting and learning. The whole Beis Medrash had an aliyah. Reb Chaim in our city here, we're Zeicha, these weeks Reb Chaim Guri shows up to our city, there's an aliyah ruchnis, the yeshiva and the city. It's not like a derech agav, a person's misplaced by a war. There's no, Hashem doesn't have collateral, everything is cheshbon, everything is for this. It's not like by way of that and then other, each zach is cheshbon. I want to say that we've been saying a kapitel Tillim, all of Klal Yisrael, we're busy with Tillim. And in Tehillim, always, remarkably, you always find your story in Tehillim. It's all there. Every year, it's incredible. You say Tehillim, you mamish, you end up reading, people are reading Psukim, you like feel, everything, David HaMelech was Levava is Levav Ha'am, understood and served Hashem in every situation, and we all find Yidden remarkably. Whatever people are going, side to the rabbin, side to the yachid, you find a bacher lost his father. He was saying Tillim, he found the pasuk, he cried for 4 hours. He saw in the pasuk like exact what he was going through. It's not a Yidden find and Tillim exactly what we're going through. And the pasuk in Sadi Aleph, the kapitel Tillim that we say every Motzei Shabbos, Yipol mitzidcha elef, 1,000 will fall from next to you, Revava miminecha, and 10,000 from your right. It's interesting, it doesn't say 1,000 fall from your left. You would think the pasuk say 1,000 from your left, 10,000 from your right. Elech layigash. On the left it says Yipol mitzidcha. From next to you 1,000 fall. Very, very medactic in language. At a chasna, the Minig Yisrael to the Badekin, the chassan's father walks to his right, and the chassan's shver walks to the other side. I listen at chasnas, because I like knowing what Misadrei Kedushin. I noticed, Yaakov, big people. Anybody here could listen. I've listened to a few Talmidei Chacham. I like listening in and seeing what they're doing, how they're Misadrei Kedushin. And I've seen big people, you'll watch it, Daniel. The next chasna, check this out. Big people don't want to say, walk to the left, to the shver. They don't say to the left. They say, tata to the right, shver to the other side. I've watched this. They won't say, the big ones don't say go to the left. Especially in context of talking to the right. It could be they don't want to put a person to the left. I've watched it. You'll check this out, Rabbi Yechiel. The big ones say, you go to this side, you to the right. They won't say you to the left, you to the right. So it's interesting. The pasuk says, Yipol mitzidcha elef, from next to you 1,000, Revava miminecha, and 10,000 from your right. Eilecha lo yisigash, but it won't touch you. And David HaMelech's talking at a time when there are arrows, when there are bombs falling. Person's bepachad mechetz yof yoimam, from arrows that are flying by day. And David HaMelech describes that each person's an exception. 1,000 can fall from the side of him, 10,000 from his right, but it won't touch him. And David HaMelech saying that each person's his own shaila, his own story, his own hashkacha. It's not in the middle of war, so it's happening, so what's going to be with this one? There's so much going on. Each one's an exception. Each one is their own ashkacha, their own cheshbon. Yipol mitzidcha elef revav miminecha elech leigash. It can happen a lot of things all around you, and it won't touch you. Hashem's watching you and me and each individual person with ashkacha elyoina, with a specific ashkacha to this person, the best for this person, what this person needs, what's tough for this person. There's a unique ashkacha for each person. And I think studying and chazering this at a time the ganze Welt's talking about collateral damage and understanding in the world of Hashem, jede Sach's hashgacha, there's an exactness. It's not like a fallout of the war, hey, and then a lot of misplaced people sitting in our beis medrash. A fallout in the war, hey, Hashem sends somebody to pick up the matzav here that was sent, exact. There's no collateral damage by the Rebbeinu Shalom. Yipol mitzad chelef, 1,000 can fall this side, 10,000. Yes, she won't touch you. There's no that doesn't cause collateral damage. Well, if everybody's falling, but ma'anasa to this one, no, it won't touch you. There's a specific hashgacha, and the chizuk and the emunah that to understand this hashgacha for each person, in exactness for each person, is a chizuk. Many gedolim at difficult times said every bullet has an address. There's hashgacha. There's an exactness to the way Hashem operates and the way Hashem guards. So I wanted to share that pasuk. The last Indian that I wanted to share, and I advise somebody put on the tables. I don't know who put this on the table. Over Shabbos, the Chevra could see this beautiful sheet on the table. I only saw it after I'd planned to say this, and I see he's stressing this Indian. I want to say to the Olam as follows. I'll tell you the story what happened. Hashgacha, always to see the words about Hashgachas Hashem, so I want to say Hashgachas Hashem. I try many weeks to see the Slanim Rebbe, to see the Nesiva Shalom on the Parsha. How often do I get to it? 2 out of 4 weeks, 1 out of 4 weeks. I try every week as much as I can to see on the Parsha. I like what he says on the Parsha and I try to read it. But it happens 2 out of 4 weeks, 1 out of 4 weeks, somewhere in that range. The last couple of years. Lemaisa, last Friday, a friend of mine was nifter, and somebody, part of the yeshiva family was nifter, and it was a very overwhelming day, and I felt like I would see that sefer before Shabbat. I would see that, it would give comfort. So Parshas Vayera, I opened up the Nesiva Shalom, let me come into Shabbos, let me have nice thoughts coming into Shabbos Kodesh. I opened the Nesiva Shalom. I think it's his first piece. You can look it up on Vayera. And we just had gone through a Petira on Erev Shabbos. And his first piece, B'chesed Hashem, a kush from the Rebbeinu Shalom, the first piece, he says, the Gemara Ksubis, Kuf Gimel Amud Beis. And the Gemara Ksubis says that somebody's meis be'erev Shabbos is Simin Yafalei. It's a good sign somebody's nifter Erev Shabbos. The Baal Shem asks, what means Simin Yafalei? We don't have choices. We don't have choices. A person in Lachem has long years. So what's it saying? It's a good sign. What's it telling us? Says the Baal Shem, the Avoid of a Yid Erev Shabbos. Shabbos Kodesh is a day that a Yid has the opportunity to be with Hashem. Just like a person going into the Beis HaMikdash is the possibility of connecting to Hashem. It's easier to connect to Hashem. So a Yid prepares. You don't just walk into the Beis HaMikdash. You make yourself the proper clay kibble to be Mekabel Asheras Hashrina. To connect to Hashem. There's Achana. So Shabbos is a Beis HaMikdash. And before entering Shabbos, there's a Hachana, preparation before entering Shabbos. Says the Baal Shem, the Achana of Shabbos is to be mace, is to chap, and every Yid Erev Shabbos should submit to Hashem. Hashem runs the world. We're in good hands. We're in good hands. We're in very good hands. Amunah. I say this, and I continuously have the Nisayan. I continuously have the Nisayan to look at the news. To look at the news, and I say the Nisayan, I know they're mindless, and they're good parts to Tzushtel, to Klal Yisrael, to see what's going on, but there's also a dangerous part of feeling you have some control, if you see, of knowing and seeing and checking. And there's an Indian of giving, there's an Indian of trusting in Hashem, being Baitech and Hashem, we're in good hands. And with our Bechira, to really work on the faith, to work on seeing it in our lives, Hashem's love of us, Hashem's want for us, Hashem guarding us and protecting us. This Inyan, says the Baal Shem, is the avoid of Erev Shabbos. That a Yid is Meis Erev Shabbos. He said every Yid has such a job, to be Meis Erev Shabbos. To come into Shabbos working, all week long the Yid's working hard. And the Yid stops working Erev Shabbos Kodesh. The Gemara speaks about the Minig Yisrael from Chatzos already not working. There's an Indian Erev Shabbos to be Meis Erev Shabbos. That the Yid gives it up. Hashem runs the world. To really, really submit to Ratzon Hashem, to acknowledge, to understand it, to rely on that Hashem runs the world. That's the avoid of Meis Erev Shabbos. That's Meichin a Yid to be Mekabel Pnei Hashchin on Shabbos. As such, the Baal Shem says, Misha Meis Erev Shabbos is a Siman Yafaloi, because that's the avoid of a Yid to be Meis on Erev Shabbos. That's what the Baal Shem describes. And I think today certainly we're stelling zu to Yidden being Meis Nefesh, who are sitting mamish in Gaza, and they're risking their lives to protect Yidden, to protect Am Yisrael. Remarkable. But we understand that the Rebbeinu Shalom, that Hashem fights for us, that Hashem fights for Klal Yisrael, and our tefillos and the Torah of Klal Yisrael is a tremendous chus for Klal Yisrael, and we're doing the Ratzon Hashem and submitting to Ratzon Hashem. I think this emunah, this I saw on the tables, I was happy. Somebody described on this chus of Klal Yisrael, recognizing that Hashem runs the world, submitting that Hashem's in charge. We're all saying Kapitel Tehillim, all saying a lot of Tehillim, and we all want to. I've spoken to friends also having this thing, read the news like Control Matters. The sports fans amongst us will relate to this. If you don't follow sports, you're going to think I'm crazy. Sorry. Sports fans know. Chaim describes the ball goes long. Players like move and move their body, contort to try to help the ball. They contort. They have a funny video. Myself and Rabbi Brownstein are in the back line, and the front guy is like dunking, and we're contorting our body, trying to coax the ball over the net. But anybody who watches sports knows you have a sense that you're looking at it, you're affecting the game. Your team lost, Pasha, because you didn't watch the game. If you would have been there and you left a little bit, sports, it sounds meshuggah. There's what to talk about. There's what to talk about that a human being feels that way, that when he watches and sees it, that it has an impact. There's what to talk about. And here we're looking at the news over and over to coax it the right way, and we're saying Kapitel Tehillim that we're all saying Hinei lo yanam v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Hashem doesn't sleep. Hashem's got it. Hashem's watching. You can sleep. He's not. Hinei lo yanam v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. You could sleep. Hashem is not. We could stop watching. Hashem's watching. Einei Hashem lekecha tamid ba. Hashem's eyes are on Eretz Yisrael, on Yerushalayim, the Hashkach on every single Yid. So the bracha to us all is all of Klal Yisrael. We should be zeichet to be boitchim b'Hashem, to trust in Hashem, to be mispalo, to daven to Hashem, to understand that Hashem, we're in very good hands. Meis Erev Shabbos, we're in very, very, very good hands. We as Klal Yisrael should be mechazik in Emunah, that we're in good hands of the Borei Olam, and we should see Klal Yisrael should see Yeshua's, Nechamas. We should see the safety, the protection of all the soldiers, the releasing of all the hostages, the safety of Yidden in all the world. Yidden everywhere. Hinei lo yanam lo yishan shomer Yisrael. We should see the safety of Yidden, the success of Yidden, the growth of Yidden everywhere. We've spoken the last many weeks. There's something going on. We're going to shtel too. I flew somewhere today. You're in airports. You know you're a Yid. You know you're a Yid. People are looking. Some sympathetic and some tough. You are separate. You're separated. You go to I've never been more separate in my life. I traveled the whole way with my hat. Normally, to get comfortable, I take off my hat when I fly. I flew the entire flight with my hat on. I did it. I felt separate anyway. Somehow, taking off the hat is like you join the chevron. Taking off my hat, I feel like I join the chevron. In a gewiss and it's like a subconscious. Today, my hat stayed on. It wasn't. I'm not joining. I'm just separate. I felt separate anyway. I left the hat on the whole flight. It was like clear by me. It wasn't like a matziv. There was no matziv. I think there's a subconscious of taking off your hat. That okay, like you're with the chevron. Everybody not wearing a hat. Okay, the yamak, I'm not taking off, but there's a certain amount. I'm with the chevron. It wasn't true anyways. I left the hat on. It wasn't true anyway. I would have, if I davened here, Shachar, so it wasn't Nageya till we had Talis and Tefillin. I should have been in Talis and Tefillin the whole way. It was different anyway, side by side. The biggest European would say, no, don't do that. Every guy should be on the plane, just sit in Talis. You might as well grow horns anyway. We're Dacha Yid. It's not. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. You're separate. We're being called. There's a matziv going on, saying, shouting, I'm a Yid. A Yid is the nation that relies on Hashem, the nation that talks to Hashem, that davens to Hashem, the nation that knows. Every nation, Elav Arecheb, Elav Asusim. Every nation is only busy with armies. Anachnu b'shem Hashem l'keinu nazkir. We're busy with Hashem. We fight differently. So we have those ishtadlus, but we also fight. We fight with the chizuk and limud HaTorah, a fight with tefillah. We're busy with Hashem, the one whose hands we're in. We should all be zeicha. Taka, the kiyum of that capital Tillim. Hey makarav and afalu v'anachnu kamnu v'nesayda. A good Shabbos.